Just today, a new channel got added to the Taming Discord server, Balance Arguments. It is a channel solely dedicated to arguing pet balance with carefully thought paragraphs or video evidence to back up their point. Lappa gets to decide what the topic is, then everyone gets to vote on balance. And I couldn't have thought of a better topic to start on than the Ice Golem. Here's a quick Taming history lesson. At first, Ice Golem wasn't really used that much. It was overshadowed by the iceberg, capable of dealing incredible damage around the user for an extended period of time. There was no real need for defense if the opponent was already dead. That changed when on September 3rd, Mafidja released a video on a failed win high score where 5 clans teamed up to destroy their base. He used some colorful language to describe what a pain it was to fight against Ice Golems. A comment pointed out that they could straight up 7v1 with how broken it was. Ever since, Ice Golem popularity skyrocketed and caught up with Iceberg. It has been nerfed several times due to the demand of players, but people are still complaining that it's just too good. This is what I'm going to be discussing today. Before I get into it, please be respectful in the comments section. It is alright to disagree with everything I have to say, but you don't have to call someone stupid over that. Just treat each other with respect and everything's good. Okay? Good. The first question we need to answer on how to balance it is why is it overpowered? Well, there's 3 reasons that I could dig up. 1, the ability can be chained indefinitely. 2, it functions differently than every other defense pet. And 3, it has stats aligned with its ability perfectly. Let's start with the first one, ability chaining. The Ice Golem ability lasts for approximately 8 seconds. Using 3 Ice Golems in a row will grant defense for 24 seconds. 10-second gap between ability use because it has a 34-second cooldown. However, a hat fixes this, the Magician's Hat. This reduces the cooldown of abilities by 1 second every 5 seconds. It's tight, but with this hat you can chain Ice Golem abilities and gain 70% constant defense. Guardian Shadow isn't overpowered because it has the worst typing in the game, and it's very weak offensively. I'll get to that in a bit. The second reason why is a bit more convoluted and requires an understanding of defensive abilities in the game as a whole. There are a select few pets that can grant defense to the user, and they can be placed into 3 categories. 1. They can protect everything within an area. The Snow Fox does this with a brief ice burst that defends everything within a small radius. However, it comes at the cost of being unable to move without player interference. 2. You can move while protected. Black Cat, Gold Golem, and Guardian Shadow all fall under this category. This allows the player to, move while protected. It's mobile defense that can be hard to shut down if the player is good enough, but it doesn't defend in an area. 3. It does damage and defend. This goes for Snow Fox and Ice Mask. However, this does not apply to Ice Golem, so we're going to ignore it for the purposes of this video. The underlying issue with the ability is that it falls under categories 1 and 2. Not only can it defend everything in an area, albeit small, it can also move at the same time. The reason why the previous examples aren't a hot topic for balancing issues is because they have key weaknesses holding it back. These issues are ones that I listed in the categories. Ice Mask is incredibly powerful. It can defend an area and deal iceberg damage over time, effectively Ice Golem and Iceberg. But it can't move. It requires aiming with a boost pad in order to be good. Even with player help, it's still hard to use because of this downside. It's a skill-based pet. Guardian Shadow can't defend everything in an area. 90% damage reduction is phenomenal. It almost makes you invincible. Until you realize that it has the worst typing in the game and gets shredded by pets such as Fire Statue. It can't protect itself. Ice Golem does both of these things. No other pet does this, unless I am forgetting something extremely obvious. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And as such, it is a beast to fight against. Mobile protection that gives everything in an area is extremely hard to beat. Lastly, the stats. Ice Golem is a tank and was the highest hit point pet in the game until Mammoth got added. For a slow-moving golem focused on defense, 24 speed is very fast. The regen is high, and the attack is also very good. If you decided to max its HP stats, it would have 3,580 hit points, only 4.8 second regen speed, and 5.4 regen points. I'm not even mentioning how ridiculous boost links would make this thing. The stats on its own doesn't make it overpowered. However, when you combine it with a defensive ability that protects everything in a small radius, it can become very overtuned, like Mafidja pointed out in his video. Mammoth, Yeti, and Mantle all have high HP stats that are greater than 2,600. But they can still be killed with proper counters because their abilities don't revolve around defense. They have a lot of health, but that health doesn't matter if they get shredded by a completely different pet that counters them handily. However, because the Ice Golem is so defensive, it makes it very hard to counter, and almost unkillable. With all of that being said, what could be a possible nerf for it? Nerfing it so that it's still usable, but it's not overshadowed entirely. Some people are suggesting to add a specific pet counter That is, unfortunately, a very bad idea. Ice Golem is an ice type. Adding a counter for Ice Golem would make the ice type suffer as a whole. I have almost never seen any ice pets used offensively against me ever since Fire Statue got added. It does 3 times damage to ice and can consistently cancel abilities due to its passive fire aura. There's only a couple of other ice pets that are consistently used. Ice Fairy, Iceberg, which is the buddy to the Golem, and Cold Dog. Other than that, an ice pet's been used consistently. Yeti just came out for the 2nd time, but it's too early to tell if it'll be used a lot. Snow Fox, but that's just a really common pet, so that makes sense. So really, they're not used that often. Adding a specific type counter would make a bad type suffer more, and nobody would want to ever use these pets again. However, I have a different nerf in mind. As I said in Reason 2 of why it's overpowered, it does 2 things that other pets don't. It can move and protect in an area. One of these things needs to be nerfed in order for it to be balanced. However, we can't just take away each one, because it would ruin the premise of Ice Golem, moving and protecting everything around you while you move. It has to be reduced, not removed. Move obviously can't be nerfed. That's the basic premise of the Ice Golem and will make it extremely annoying to use, other than maybe mounting a pet and rushing with like a horse or a unicorn or something like that. So what about protecting everything in an area? Reducing the area protection from 70% to 45%. This still provides a solid amount of defense to Ice Golems nearby, but it makes it significantly easier to deal more damage, so you can still attack Ice Golems and deal sufficient damage with correct counter pets. I decided specifically on 45%, because protecting itself by 50% would probably be too much and wouldn't fix anything, but reducing it to 40% could potentially make the golem bad. But wait, you might ask, like this goes against the entire, point 3 of Lappa's last statement. Reducing its effect for the owner and the Tamons is too confusing and contradicts most taming skills. It would be a weird, unexplained exception. You know what, let me just, edit that real quick. No, let's just change that and that, and let's just change the color. Let's just do that. Alrighty, so reducing its effect only for the Tamons is good and balanced, and okay, ignore that part. It would be understandable and well-explained exception. Let me share my thought process behind why this nerf would make sense even though Lappa says nah, it wouldn't. So I would like to use the example of a yo-yo. Now please ignore the cringe Google stock images. But basically how a yo-yo works is you can swing it around on your finger, okay? It'll just go round and round on your finger, it'll rotate, it'll go wee. The main thing I want to point out about this is that the yo-yo is anchored to the index finger. You don't move, it doesn't just suddenly come off the index finger and goes wee. No, it stays right there. However, if you have another finger that, if you're holding out your other finger, it'll only occasionally bonk that other finger. So it'll be like bonk ow, but this is always constrained to this hand, right? It is always there. Now think with me for a minute. What if there were 4 of these yo-yos that were just spinning all around the index finger? I'm sorry, this is really cringe. But this is basically how it would work. It would just go constantly round and round. All 4 yo-yos would constantly rotate around this singular finger, okay? And it would bonk this finger pretty frequently, but it wouldn't bonk it too much. It would always be anchored to this central finger, but it would still occasionally hit this finger. Now we're gonna take that a step further, and we're gonna go to taming. The yo-yos are the ice shields from the Ice Golem ability. They constantly rotate around the tamer. It is locked around the tamer, so of course it's gonna get all of the defense buffs, but it's only occasionally hitting this finger. It's only occasionally hitting the other Ice Golems with the ice user. So it would make sense for this buff to happen because this is the one that's getting the most defense, and this one is only getting a little bit of the defense because it's only occasionally getting a shield bonk. A friendly shield bonk, that would provide defense. Alright? Got it? It's an exception. but it's not really an exception because Ice Golem is a unique pet in what it does that I already explained in Reason 2. That is my justification. If you want to join this discussion, the channel is open to everybody on the official Discord server. Stay on topic. I will be posting this video here and will be participating regularly in this channel to help keep the game balanced and fun for everyone. You can still discuss what you think in the comments section, but it would be better if it was on the Discord server so Lappa can consider your arguments. Thank you for watching. See you!